This is one of your many birthday surprises. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was perusing LinkedIn, and you know how Liquid Death has some really great marketing?
Yeah.
Have you seen the mosh pit diaper? So that you never have to leave the mosh pit. You can just, it's in partnership with Depends. Check out this
Oh my
baby.
God.
Oh, the pit diaper.
The pit diaper. Hey, where am I to wear this, Jen? Where does
Well,
what's
it comes
the use
with
case? I need a use case scenario.
It comes with Depends. You know, that's some good cross marketing right there. You can use it at the summit, so you never have to go to the bathroom.
That's a good look.
Right? You know, I'm up on stage.
I would put that thing on. I would go to Hills and Dales, and I would just sit up at the bar all day and just flirt with those servers.
Please do. Please do.
Oh, well. I wish we could get Bero in San Antonio. Maybe we can. It's probably an HEB.
That's a good question for John. Is John waiting in the wings?
Let's go ahead and let him in then.
Your dreams really do come true on BeerNet Radio. Wow.
I mean, well, mine do. I don't know. You know, I keep saying that dreams come true, but it might just be mine.
Yeah, it's just yours.
See, it's just mine.
Your dreams always come true, Harry.
I hope so. And I hope that yours come true too, John. You know? And it seems like they are. This Bero, non-alcoholic beer, taking the nation by storm. We're excited to have you on BeerNet Radio. It is the podcast where all your dreams come true, famously. And Jen, why don't you introduce our guest and we can get started? Because it is Friday, and you know, we don't like to work on Fridays in the beer business. You know what I'm saying?
Right? We got to get ready for Monday. But yeah, I'd like to welcome to BeerNet Radio, John Herman, co-founder of Bero, a new super premium non-alc offering launched with famous actor Tom Holland. And we've had John on the show before because he was president over at Nutrabolt C4 before he came to this deal. So welcome, John.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think on that call or on that time, Harry was talking about his addiction to all of our collaborations with Skittles and Starburst. And
I still am.
And I
still am. I switched from C4 to Ghost because it's sold by beer distributors, and then KDP bought that. And so I've just given up. I'll just drink whatever.
Go back to C4.
I'll go back to C4. You know,
perfect.
I'm an Austin native shore.
Yeah. And maybe, hey, you guys can put caffeine in Bero. It doesn't have any alcohol. So, you know, maybe he can drink that.
You know, a coffee stout or a coffee porter with some caffeine. Maybe that's in the future.
I don't drink it for the caffeine, Jen. I drink it for the taste.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you drink it for the cred. Because you can use some of the cred.
The cred.
That's what the kids call it today, right? Cred.
Right? The Riz, right? Did I use that word correctly?
No, not really, but it's really. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
thank you so much for having me on. And yeah, excited to talk to you today about Bero.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for a lot of our listeners, you and I checked in a few months ago when the product first launched, but tell our listeners how you went from C4 to this venture.
So I had an 8-year run at C4 where I had the pleasure of being president, overseeing sales, marketing, product development. It was amazing. When I joined, we were sub 200 million, very much niche sports nutrition. We mainstreamed the pills and powders business. We then decided to figure out this beverage thing and build out an amazing team. And we scaled it to the number 4 energy drink in the country. And we're fortunate enough to bring on a great partner in KDP. But as we were really getting into 2023, I started realizing I enjoyed the build and getting to that point, but the next phase of the business, while critically important, didn't feel like something that I was as inspired to be part of. And I decided to step away. And, one thing that really stuck with me was I absolutely loved the beverage business. Like, it was energetic. The people were great. It was challenging, but like welcoming too somehow. And I knew I wanted to be in beverage again. So categories like energy and how they were being redefined were really interesting, and non-alcoholic beer felt very similar to that. And then a few meeting of the minds and crossing streams, and 12 to 13 months later, we now have Bero. But just wanted to make a change, honestly, and try out something new and see if I could build something from scratch.
And so how did Tom get roped in? And the VC firm that's involved is Imaginary Ventures, right?
That's right.
So how did they all come together?
So I ended up meeting Imaginary, and they were really interested in this non-alcoholic beer category. They saw it as the next big thing. They thought that there were good brands in the space, but to truly build the full category, it would take a couple great brands, and nobody was really speaking to this premium aspirational beer that you'd want to pick up in like a bar or a restaurant. Um, on the separate side, Tom was on at that point a 2 year sobriety journey. In January, it'll be a 3 year journey. And when he really started out, he thought, well, one, even though I have a great circle of friends, I still feel othered when I go to a bar if I have a club soda and a lime, or at this point, if I get a Heineken, it's all blue, everything's blue, so it kind of still makes me stand out. But he missed beer, but he liked being sober. So he thought, you know what, my brand doesn't exist. Maybe I can build one. So he went to his agents and said, find me people to help me build this. And they introduced him to Imaginary. Imaginary introduced me to Tom. And we all just kind of hit it off. We all had a similar view on the category. We all had a similar vision for the brand. And it's been awesome. I mean, the relationships and like the collaboration. Tom and I talk every single day. Like it's not a rubber stamp sponsored by type product. This is Tom's baby, and his handwriting is all over it.
So I'm curious because you guys launched in October. You went on some of the, talk shows, so it got a lot of press. Obviously, you've got a lot of social media built in. How has the traction been? I believe you guys are mostly like in some of the larger markets like LA, New York so far, seeding on-prem, but also DTC. So what have early sales been like?
Yeah, so starting with the launch, we officially launched the brand October 21st. And intuition, experience, and a lot of research, we thought we had something special. And then, just through the magic and work of Tom, 2.6 billion impressions later, 140,000 followers on social media, really second only to one other non-alcoholic beer brand in social following already. We're seeing a lot of love behind one, the story of the brand. People aren't seeing it as another celebrity brand. They're saying, I get it. Tom is on his variety journey. He's passionate about this. It feels British, born in London, crafted in America, enjoyed worldwide. People like the story, people like the positioning. And the most important thing is people are loving the actual beer itself. Already on our direct to consumer platform, about a third of our sales are coming from repeat purchase. So 4.9 stars on the liquid. And then on top of that, people are coming back for more. So really, really positive. We are popping up really in New York from an on-prem standpoint, and that will start scaling. DSD is ramping specifically in the East Coast right now, and we'll be spreading through the rest of the country in Southern California, really going into the new year. But right now, the read is really positive. The one complaint that we get consistently from consumers is, I want to be able to find it in a store. And if that's the complaint, that's a fun one to solve for. And we have some solutions popping up in January for that.
Yeah. So of course, now I have to ask about your distributor network that is, I'm sure, crystallizing as you're, hinting at.
Absolutely. So it's beer houses, of course, depending on the market, at AB or Molson Coors, but really looking to build out the best partners that we can. Many familiar faces from who supported us in our journey with C4. So, I think there's equal parts of trust in the team that we have. My head of sales and distribution is Declan Duggan. He was hire number one over at Nutrable. So he joined me on another crazy ride. So one of us are crazy for wanting to work together again. I'm not sure which one, maybe both. But he's really come on, and he is just leveraging his knowledge of the space and building out a great network. So there are markets where it really varies, but generally pretty good excitement holistically from the distributor network.
Who makes the beer for you, John?
So we're partnering with a contract brewer right now in Colorado, Prost Brewing. They're great. It's a beautiful new facility and really good partners. And then we'll be onboarding partners on the East Coast as well. I mean, liquid is expensive to ship across the country, and having more localized capacity. But right now, Prost has been phenomenal to get us off the ground.
Right. And I was really impressed with your packaging, because in our industry, I'm sure like a lot of other CPG industries, but I feel like more in ours, we copy everything. As soon as somebody's successful, as soon as there's Voodoo Ranger, then there's 100 brands with skulls and bones on them, right? And you guys went the completely other way. It's very unbeer like, but it really stands out, I think. Like how did that come about?
So another great benefit of Imaginary, our VC partners, they're really connected when it comes to consumer product and design and brand. So we had a great partnership to kick it off with a gentleman named Eric Torstensen, great creative brand direction, most recently founder of Frame Denim. He was also involved in creation of skins for Kim Kardashian. So really great brand mind. Think luxury, think premium. And then we partnered with Center, which is a design agency out of Brooklyn. I had experience with them in my past life with C4 Smart Energy. Amazingly talented, low ego, just great work ethic and partners. And really, we wanted to create something that felt, one, that it had a legacy. We didn't want to feel like, to your point, a craft beer brand created in 2024 with bright colors and funky names. We wanted a sense of like, hey, wait, has that always been around? And then we wanted Easter eggs that could really tie into the story of Tom. The trout on the front of the can, that's from Kingston upon Thames, where he's from in the UK. The naming convention, Edge Hill Hazy IPA, that's where he went and studied ballet and arts. The color of the maroon of that is the lapel from his jacket he had to wear. So Noon Wheat is the dog he shares with his girlfriend, and it barks every single time we're on the call together. But we wanted to create this idea of premium and luxury while at the same time having these like little stories that people could latch onto where it has Tom's handwriting on it without literally having his signature on it. Because beyond creating a Tom Holland brand, we wanted to create a great brand, and that's what we were really trying to do. And then the last thing I'd say here is we're looking at the social feeds of all of the non-alc brands that are more pure play. And if I would show you a slide, they all look the same. And on that slide, it might have 10 different brands. And it's very much like you're saying, Me Too and emulation. We wanted to create a unique identity. We wanted it to be that cool brand, that aspirational brand. And if you're at a high-end Manhattan restaurant or bar, you could hold that gold can and really take pride and feel like you're fitting in the right, best possible ways.
Yeah, I got to ask you, John, how many times a week does Tom have a Bero? Honestly.
I did not budget appropriately for the shipping expense of restocking him, honestly. Like he goes through them a lot, and he travels all over the world. So, LA, Boston, he's in the UK right now. So I'm shipping product everywhere, but he goes through a good amount.
Nice. You and I had talked earlier, and to the point of the packaging, you mentioned that glass may be in the future of the brand. What are your thoughts there?
So we're working on developing a really distinct and like iconic textural bottle that can live in on-premise. We are very near to finalizing a partnership which is beyond anything I could have ever dreamed of, that will help us on the engineering of the glass to give it more of a story, tie back to that British heritage a bit. But all of that probably puts us as that being a major story going into 2026.
Okay, going into 26.
26. So
okay,
we were getting close to it being a first half of 25 standpoint, and then if you have an opportunity to work with, one of the best engineer design companies in the world, it kind of pushed things back so that we could do this thing in a bigger way.
Very cool. We will stay tuned. And you also mentioned the potential for draft.
We are actively looking at a lot of technology solutions there. I think put Tom to the side for a second. It's really important to me that quality and consumer safety is at the core of what we do. Personally, and building the brand, Larry and Tom and his celebrity and that importance skyrockets. And
right.
Our brewmaster, Grant Wood, he's been really taking on the challenge to figure out how we could make this come to life. He was just over at in Nuremberg for the beer convention there, and he was looking at new technologies, single use lines, thinking about if there are ways to add different preservatives, natural or artificial, that could potentially provide some comfort there. So we're exploring it. I'd like to think we could have something in a test mode by the middle of 2025, but this may be a longer lead time, just because we want to make sure we get it right.
It's hard. There's no ethanol in it, so it's like shipping milk in a keg. I mean, that's not to put too fine a point on it. Now, I may be a little slow on the uptake here, but how many states are you guys in? Are you nationwide yet, or what's going on?
So with direct to consumer, we're currently shipping to about, I think, 41 of the 50 states. Regulation in some states, like, Georgia as an example, we may as well be having an imperial, IPA. So yeah, we're shipping direct in those states, and we'll be expanding in to all 50 hopefully by the middle of 2025 as we get our DSD footprint underneath us.
Are there any projections you can share for 2025 at this point?
So, I mean, it's ambitious, but we're definitely looking to, see. I'd say 2025 is more about the critical proof points to really show people that they should be getting behind Bero. I think there's a lot of positive intent right now between the consumer love and the press hits. I think retailers are seeing the opportunity, distributors are seeing the opportunity, and I'm a little close to it. And I don't say this arrogantly, but I feel like the conversation in NA has quickly become a two-horse discussion from a pure play standpoint. So, we're kicking off a major national launch on 12/29 with Target. And I've never had a partnership with a retailer in my career like what it has been with Target. They've been wonderful, from mandated display activity to collaborative marketing, press strategies. So that is really going to be our focus as we get into next year, because once we prove that out, as we think we will, that will open up the doors pretty easily. So, I think we'll definitely be in the low to mid eight-figure range coming out of 2025. But yeah, we're trying to move quickly.
Very cool. One other thing I wanted to ask you about, I mean, I'm sure you guys know your market research and know that there's, lots of new brands coming to market, including one from Dax Shepard, who of course is an actor and has a very popular podcast. I think his brand is more like economy facing, Ted Seegers. Is that good for the category, or is that like a jump the shark moment when a bunch of celebrities are getting in NA? What are your thoughts about that?
I think new entrants are good for the category as long as the liquid itself is good.
Mhm.
Because right now, success for Bero won't be us gaining share through stealing customers from Heineken
Mhm.
Double Zero or stealing customers from Athletic. Success for Bero is to expand the pie. We want to be able to go to retailers and say, your set needs to grow because Bero serves a different customer than Ted Seegers, than Athletic. But if entrants to the category are subpar quality liquid, then negative perceptions of non-alcoholic beer become reinforced. Now, I say all of that with then saying Ted Seegers is a great tasting beer. So the more entrants that come to the category that are actually quality liquid, where first attempt to try non-alcoholic beer is like, wow, that blew away my expectations about what this could be. I think it's really good for the category. Bigger brands like Michelob Ultra and their Zero and that position. I mean, the amount of dollars that they can pour into the category to take notice, it's wonderful for the category.
Yeah. So are you guys then going to be the highest price brand in the category?
We're pricing about $1 above like where the core leaders are. So,
Okay.
we'll probably be sitting at the highest premium. Yeah. It really the pricing is so, all over the place across the country based off of income levels, but you really see non-alcoholic beers sit between 10.99 and 12.99 generally with that promotion. And we'll be around like 11.99 to 13.99 for a six pack.
Yeah.
About this is before COVID, so about this is probably 7 years ago. I was contacted by an agent, by an A-list actor, and he said he wanted to get in the beer business. And so we set up a call and we talked, and he said, I want to do a non-alcoholic beer. And I said, that's a horrible idea. That's terrible. Like, what, O'Doul's? What do and talked him out of it. And now I feel terrible because it was probably the perfect timing.
It might have been right before its time.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
I'm
So,
a broken record on this, but what's happening in non-alcoholic beer is the same thing that happened in energy drinks. That led to C4 and Celsius taking off. You had one brand say the offering today isn't right for the consumers of the next generation, and that was Bang for energy drinks. And they redefined the expectation on flavor, redefined the expectation on, health and wellness ingredients and functionality. They made retailers think about energy differently. They made distributors think about energy differently. And all of that hard work that they did created performance energy today. Well, Athletic is that vehicle of who redefined, the potential of non-alc. And, the hard work to find, I've listened to numerous podcasts and articles where Bill's talked about the journey of not being able to find the capacity and, being laughed at by distributors or retailers. Well, they believed in their idea, and the categories stand up and stood up for future growth. Now it's time to round out the category and add additional great complementary incremental consumers to the category, because you have the believers, but it needs to have that, because right now it's a very fast growing but niche category, and it needs to become a fast growing and meaningful category for distributors to want to take up space on their trucks, and for retailers to want to go from being a shelf to 4 feet of a set. But like that hard work was done by people that really believed in the potential before anyone else could see it. Which I'm happy to follow after that work had been done.
All right. Basco, no. I'm sorry. No. Basco, get down.
It's all part of the local color, John.
He's eating my. Oh, get down off there. Okay.
This is how you train a puppy.
I was gonna say, are you abusing a dog or are you abusing a cat?
It's a puppy. He's a basset hound. He's sitting on my Barca lounger, and he's found my styrofoam container that had my taco. It's fine. He can eat it. Whatever.
It had your taco in it.
It had my taco in it. So there's no taco left. There's just styrofoam. He's just going to eat that, taco flavored styro.
You'll get to pick that up later on.
Yeah, for sure. Either now or later when it comes through his poop.
Yeah.
Boy, what this podcast has just degenerated into bedlam. I'm so sorry.
We're trying to build a premium beer brand.
Uh-oh. Tom Holland is not going to be happy.
This is not a Tom Holland approved message.
Right. Well, I was going to ask you, what kind of differences are there in non-alcoholic beer versus just a non-alcoholic energy drink like C4? I mean, you still have to kind of, in some states, right, they treat it like a alcohol beer rather than a non-alcoholic drink. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah, look, non-alcoholic beer is beer. Like, it is. I mean, the same 4 ingredients that are in beer are in non-alcoholic beer. The real lever, or the real question, is how you make it. So if you're a Heineken 0.0, you brew your beer and you dealcoholize it, and you get to 0.0. If you're maybe an old school O'Doul's, you're brewing full strength beer and adding water to dilute down. What we ended up doing is we're leveraging a maltose negative yeast, which essentially means it is only converting enough sugars into alcohol to give the flavor experience that we want, so that you don't get leftover cereal maltiness that you would get from earlier versions of NA, and that you get a really good beer experience. So we're making beer. It just happens to have less than 0.5% alcohol.
That's kind of how Athletic and Sierra do it, I think, right? It's just a very low gravity beer.
Arrested development, like low gravity. And honestly, like everything I just said, hopefully came off credible and knowledgeable, but it's only because we hired an incredible brewmaster. Like, I know how to drink beer. I didn't know the first thing of making beer. So Grant Wood, who used to work for Boston Beer for about 18 years and started up Revolver, he joined us. And most of the people on the team, when I have my weekly touch base, we're talking about strategy and ideating. For Grant, I feel like it's story time. I just ask questions like, tell me the history of where IPA comes from. and honestly, like, what he has added to think about how we approach making this beer is it's incredible. And he's great people, which doesn't hurt.
Yeah. How big is your team now? How many people are employed by Bero?
We have about 10 people on payroll right now, which, before October 21st would have been the VC telling me, be scrappier, don't burn capital, you're never going to launch on time. In October 22nd, it was like, oh my God, bandwidth is tight. We have a lot going on. So, we're going to be expanding pretty aggressively in 2025. It will take feet on the street. It will take additional marketing capabilities. And then there's just going to be operational capabilities in the background. We'll probably come out of 2025 with probably around 30 people.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'm assuming you guys will do everything via social media. Maybe no big like TVC is not in the plans, right?
So, I think the beauty of having someone of Tom's caliber is that you end up getting opportunities that would either not be in reach for a normal startup or cost more than you could probably, afford. And I think there's a lot of great partnerships we have in place. I think a few to mention, Chase Sapphire, we have a deep partnership with them that we've kicked off. So incorporation into their events, whether it be food and wine events or their Eats Con that they do, or a film festival in Utah, which I cannot think of the name of
Is
right
it
now.
Sundance, right?
Thank you, Sundance.
Yeah.
So like incorporation into great events like that, which are a little bit higher level. We've entered into a partnership with the Soho House in both the US and the UK. So they are an amazing club experience, but they're also kind of a media experience. So, I think we're going to end up having a lot of different higher level partnerships because of the stature that comes with Tom. And social is going to be the key driver, and content will really be important. But you might see us more on pre-roll or at headlining certain events than we probably would be otherwise.
Yeah. We'll definitely have to cover that, right, Harry? I mean, Sundance, we've been missing out on that one for too long, and it's just our
You
readers
go ahead,
are...
Jen. I'll approve a trip to Sundance. As
We
long as you
were-
take my dog with you.
No, never mind. No deal.
No,
I'm
no.
allergic.
No styrofoam in the mountains.
Yeah, no
we-
styrofoam allowed.
We were just in Miami for Art Basel, and we had an idea. We're like, hey, maybe we do something, and before you knew it, we popped up in about 5 different events. And again, it was through more like great just partnerships. Like it wasn't big fee structures. It was, hey, Bero seems to be a highly desired, talked about brand. Let's have you be there. We did this cool like commission painting of Bero, which we're going to
cool.
hang in our office that we're going to work on opening up. So yeah, I think we're going to pop up in some cool spots, and anywhere you want to travel to, we'll just we'll get Harry to stamp the approval on the check.
Yep. Just go. She's got my American Express card as we speak. So
Yeah,
That's
because
all.
mine's expired anyway. That's a different pod. But
yeah, we
yeah.
have a staff meeting on Wednesday, Jen. We'll talk about it then.
Uh-oh. Am I not getting a new one?
No, you are. You are. You are.
We'll talk about it.
No. Yeah. I think I've lost your new one. Anyway, we're
Of
talking.
course.
We'll have a call that we don't have to talk about it on the podcast. Our personal,
Oh, but we do.
but we do.
I think the bigger question is you don't look like a Harry, so I don't know why you're not getting flagged every time you use the credit
Yeah,
card. in person.
Right? It's online.
It's online.
So.
Well, that's awesome. Jen, do you have anything else? Because I know
No.
because
I think that's it.
whatever this has kind of become a bit, John.
Yeah.
Well, you've been on the podcast, so you might
Yeah,
even
you know.
know that I'll
Yeah.
try and close it down, and then Jen will say, "Whoa, hey, whoa! I've got."
I got 10 more questions. No,
Yeah.
I think that was pretty thorough. And yeah, it's just exciting to watch. It is a really sleek package with big names and super compelling and very on trend, not in a bad way, of course, right? So we'll be watching
Yeah.
intently for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know we're at an earlier phase than most of the brands that you probably talk to, so I appreciate you giving me some time to chat about Bero. But look, I think between the consumer and the category, that is real, that is growing, that isn't a flash in the pan. The operational capabilities we're building, I am unbelievably proud of. The people, the culture, the people that have built beverage before that we have, I think is a real differentiator. The partnership with an Imaginary and the funding makes us different than a startup. Like I like building brands. I didn't want to worry about how I was going to pay for it 6 months from now and have to do a raise. And then the icing on the cake is really Tom. I mean, his involvement, his story, his reach, it's phenomenal. And it's I don't think I've ever had more fun in my career than I've had the past year.
Oh, that's great. That's what it's. Hey, make the beer business fun again. That's what I've been saying. I've been saying that for 20 years.
How do you put that on a hat? What's the abbreviation?
Well, we're going to do that. Make beer fun again.
Make beer funny.
Listen,
Yellow.
I think you got a great tiger by the tail. I love the packaging. I like that you came from C4, so you're still in the beer business. You know what I mean, in the middle tier. It ties it all together. And I hope you guys have a great holiday season over there. Tell Tom hello from Harry. I know, he might remember me from Drunken Night in London about 20. Anyway.
Tell Zendaya hi from me, okay?
Zendaya. Yeah. Well, let's listen, Tom. Listen, John. Please keep in touch, and we'd like to check in with you in about 6 months to see how it's shaking over there.
That'd be wonderful. I hope we're going to have a lot of exciting updates with maybe some more hard numbers that we can share at that point in time too.
Cool. All right, guys. Take care.
Thank you so much.